mentors and I were sitting around talking, and he mentioned that he had just gotten finished with Benjamin Franklin's autobiography. At the time, I wasn't much of a reader and thought, what would possibly prompt someone to read such a book? Well, a few years ago, I remembered our conversation, and now, being committed to reading every day, I decided to take a look at what old Ben had to say. I found many great quotes in the book, but the story of the whistle made a lasting impression on me. And it goes like this. Apparently, when Ben Franklin was a child of 7 years old, and he was out on a holiday, he got his pockets filled with some money, some coppers, as he says in the story, by friends and family. And once he had this money, he wanted to go spend it on something. So he went to a shop where they sold toys for children, and he really fell in love with the sound of a whistle. And he had met another boy that had it, and he just loved the sound of that whistle. So he gave all that he had, all the money that he had, to the shop owner, and he bought a whistle. And when he came home, he was just whistling all over the house. He was just playing that whistle all the time. And if you could appreciate this, a lot of us have had a recorder or had that in our lives when we were small children and we played hot cross buns on it, and how annoying that sound could be. You can probably appreciate this. He was going all over his house, whistling on that whistle and disturbing his family. His brothers and sisters and cousins, everybody was beginning to get annoyed at the sound of this whistle, but they also knew how much he had paid for the whistle. And they decided to inform Ben that he had given 4 times as much as that whistle was worth. It put Ben Franklin in the mindset that of all the things he could have bought with the extra money. And all of his family members laughed at him for being so frivolous and such a spendthrift. And so Ben cried and was upset with himself and just didn't know what to do. So he decided to reflect on the situation. And all of a sudden, the whistle didn't give him nearly the pleasure that it had before. He dwelled on it a little bit longer, and from then on, when he was tempted to buy something, he thought about the whistle and how much he had given for the whistle. And so he thought up a line for himself, and he said, "Remember, don't give too much for the whistle." This caused him to save a lot of his money throughout his life instead of buying frivolous items. Have you ever been in that situation? I know I have. I mean, in this illustration, the whistle is treasure or money. However, there are 2 other currencies that people often use and end up paying too much for the whistle. Those other currencies are talent and time. You see, it is important to use your money wisely and not spend it on frivolous things. However, in most cases, the money can be earned back and the lesson can be learned, just like with Ben. However, when you give up an opportunity to enhance your talent, you are retarding your development for the rest of your life. Talent is something that you're born with, and it is not often that an opportunity comes along to allow you to enhance that talent. When that time arrives, you need to make the most of that moment and learn as much as you can. Time is the last currency, and it is even more valuable than talent because you can never get it back. Time is the one thing that we should trade with the most caution. You may trade a moment of embarrassment for a connection that changes your life. You can spend time reading a book that gives you the talent to be successful in what you want to be. You invest in things that bring you no reward. Invest in you. Invest in you. You are the most important investment you have. We waste our precious resource, time, and we get very little in return. It is the one currency that we can't get back. If you'd like to join my sales training webinar, the time that you spend will make you wealthier than you can ever imagine, because nobody can take away that information from you. And remember old Ben's warning, never pay too much for the whistle.